I was completely wrong about Shedeur Sanders. After getting a win yesterday as starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns over a very, very good and competitive Las Vegas Raiders team, going 11 for 20 with 209 yards, a TD, and an interception, including a 66-yard screen pass that was taken for a TD, a rating of 87.3, leading his team to a win, snapping, here's a good one, wait for it, a 17-game losing streak when a quarterback makes his first start for the Browns. First time since 1995 that starter in his first game wins a game. And I would like to say that a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Oh, wait a minute. That's not a David Samson quote. That's a Shedeur Sanders quote. I am terribly sorry that I thought Shedeur Sanders was not a National Football League quality player when he was in the QB4 slot or when he was sitting in the draft room. When I've watched his ascension from QB4 to QB1, and I've watched him work his way to the top and become a starter in the National Football League, one of 32 men to be under center first play of the game, it is incumbent upon me to acknowledge my mistake. Shedeur Sanders is on a Hall of Fame track. Shedeur Sanders is an all-pro. Shedeur Sanders is up for an extension, and I say right now, give him to his deal. All right, Coca, is that enough? Do you want me to go more? Or are you satisfied with me saying how wrong I was about Shedeur Sanders? Because he had an 87.3 rating, and they won a game as he went 11 for 20. Would you give me a break? They were playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who, frankly, maybe, and I have no information about this because I didn't check the standings today, and there's always the Jets. Are the Las Vegas Raiders the worst team in football? It would appear to me that they are. The Cleveland Browns have a Super Bowl caliber defense. When you have Myles Garrett, pay attention to him. The guy gets 2 or 3 sacks every day. He's likely to break the record for most sacks in a year that I thought was held by LT, but I think I got the wrong Giant. It could be held by Strahan. Whoever it's held by, Myles Garrett's going to get that record. The Browns had 10 sacks on the Raiders. The Raiders' offense stinks. The defense stinks. The special teams stink. And their almost octogenarian coach, Pete Carroll, has to figure out when he speaks to the cloned Tom Brady, hey, man, we're doing great. Don't you worry. That Shedeur Sanders, man, that guy carved us up. No wonder we couldn't win that game. He was so good, and our guy, we couldn't, with that offensive line. Come on, Tom, what am I going to do? Tom Brady responded and said, I have an idea. Let's fire Chip Kelly. That's the ticket. In baseball, we fire our pitching coach and hitting coach, and we pretend that that's what's needed to turn the season around. And sometimes we do it early. Sometimes we do it too late. Sometimes we do it toward the end of the season as a shot across the bow to a head coach. Do you think Pete Carroll is despondent this morning because the Vegas Raiders fired Chip Kelly in his first year? Yeah, that Chip Kelly, the guy they paid $6 million per year to be their offensive coordinator, the guy who was going to come in and team with Pete Carroll to form this amazing 1-2 duo. There'll be no more Marshawn Lynch not going to him, goal line interceptions. Forget it. These two are going to take us to the top, Tommy Boy said. And all Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly have done is take them right down to the crapper. And now Chip Kelly gets fired. I wonder whether Tom Brady, how that call went. Did the call come as he was broadcasting? Did the call come as he was relaxing post-broadcast? Did the call come while he was golfing? Did the call come during a meeting that he was having with someone else for another business? Or was it an outgoing call from Tom Brady? Hey, Pete, sorry, man. We got to do something. We're a damn disgrace. I am getting closer and closer to Jordan every single week. I cannot be looked at as such a failure as an executive. No chance, toilet pants. Get rid of Kelly. And Pete Carroll, who normally coaches and managers would die on the sword for their coordinators and coaches. Pete Carroll, no, no, no. There is no possible way that Pete Carroll would get in the way of any move Tom Brady wanted to make. But what Pete Carroll doesn't realize is that he's really the one who's not going to be coaching in Vegas next year. Because you can do these in-season firings. They generally don't work. You can change out the coordinators as a way to show your fan base and your owner that we're doing something. Tom Brady is going to wake up after this failed season of the Raiders with the embarrassment of this loss to the Browns and Shedeur Sanders' first game as quarterback, which, by the way, you beat the Raiders, you're not even guaranteed a second start. If Shedeur Sanders comes out and the Browns beat, whoever, they beat the Colts, they beat the Chiefs, they beat someone in the AFC who actually is decent, even the Steelers, they beat somebody, that's interesting. Kevin Stefanski came out after the game and was like, oh, Shedeur must have earned another start, right? He's like, I'm not really going to answer right now. I'm proud of him, though. Proud of the offense, but ton of things to learn from. I'm worried about today. Whenever a coach says I'm worried about today, they're lying to you. They're not worried about today. They're definitely thinking about tomorrow. Can you imagine that after the game, the Cleveland Browns didn't get together and name Shedeur Sanders their quarterback next week, that they still think an concussed, if not newly recovered, concussed Dylan Gabriel is going to be better and give the Browns a better chance with their stellar defense? Does that not tell you about Shedeur Sanders' performance? Anyway, I digress. I want to go back. Hurry up, David. All right, I'm going back to the Raiders. Pete Carroll looks around, gets called that his offensive coordinator gets fired, and Pete Carroll looks around and all of a sudden puts in a couple pieces of gum, gets into his office, and does one of those chair back things. Have you ever done that in an office? Here's a little funny side note. I used to think it worked when I was one of the workers, where I'd be in my office and I always wanted a tall back chair. I never wanted my head to be above the chair. Because if I turn the chair back away from the window or door of the office, I can actually close my eyes and no one would know because they can't see my head. But B, even when I'm awake, I want to turn my chair around so I just don't lock eyes with anyone because my stupid head as a worker said, hey, if the boss sees me, then he'll think about whether he wants to fire me. But if he doesn't see me, I won't even be in his mind. I'm picturing Pete Carroll trying to hide from Tom Brady and hide from Mark Davis. It doesn't work. Trust me. When I got to the other side of that window and I was running an organization and a business before that, and I had people reporting into me, it didn't matter whether they were home, whether they were traveling on a plane, whether they were in their office, whether they were asleep. If I was ready to make a move and ready to fire, trust me, we'll find you. It's not like the way we ran a team was, oh, that's right, I didn't even think of that guy. I haven't seen him around in so long. Nope, doesn't work that way. Pete Carroll is going to be found, folks. He may have been hiding behind Chip Kelly. Not any longer. Coca, we have wait to sees in this show. You can get our wait to see on davidsamsonpodcast.com, where we list all of our wait to sees, all of our picks of the day, words of the day. You can find everything, including some cool holiday merch, on davidsamsonpodcast.com. Here's today's wait to see. Pete Carroll will not be coaching the Raiders next year. And you can book it. 3-year deal or not, this is a one and done. Does it take away from his Hall of Fame resume as a coach? No. Does it take away from any of his legacy? No. But he will not be on the sidelines again. He will not go to the University of North Carolina. He will not coach again after this season. Pete Carroll could not save the Raiders.